Well, how we doing, Gideon's Tactical crew? Hope you guys are well. Doing some bushwhacking, hanging out on the side of a mountain, testing out some blades, and get to take you along for the ride. As we look at a knife that many have said is one of the best belt knife designs of all time. It has recently received a design tweak, I'll call it. It's not even an update, it's just a tweak that some of you I think are going to be super happy with, depending on how you use the blade, or kind of irritated with. Be like, really? Come on, why are you doing that? Leave it the way it was. And it would be the Cold Steel Master Hunter in CPM 3V. Now, I've been testing this blade in different variants for probably going on a decade now, and I have to have a Master Hunter in the collection at all times because it's so simple but so capable. And with this design tweak, potentially even better at certain tasks than before, or potentially worse at certain tasks than before. And make sure to stick around because a little later in the video, I am going to be comparing the Master Hunter to the 3V SRK, the 3V DEMKO, FREEREIGN, and the 3V variant of the SRK Compact. And so we are going to go down memory lane, testing out a classic design to see what it's capable of, what it's limited in, running maybe some competitive options, and just have fun playing with blades and taking you along for the ride. If you're new to the channel, as I said, I'm Aaron. This is Gideon's Tactical. Let's dive in and have some fun. Now, since the beginning, the Master Hunter was always a hunting knife first, camp knife second, and that was done by giving you a 0.19, so pretty thick maximum stock thickness back here by the handle, but a continuous taper all the way to the tip, making it extremely thin and precise near the tip and kind of that last half of the blade. Excellent for hunting tasks, skinning of game, and slicing. In 2023, something changed, and they opted to remove that tapering. So it just stayed at almost a non-taper all the way to that tip, meaning that it now had maximum robustness on that tip. I was always paranoid about the original of snapping and breaking it. This one, the SRK stabs better than this thing. And I was doing side lateral, not worried about it at all. I mean, this thing is very thick behind that tip, adding to a lot of durability, which actually is great for camp tasks in the way that I use this knife, but is definitely going to lag compared to the older models in hunting tasks. So if you were looking at this as a hunting knife, it doesn't work the same anymore and is really designed almost as just a camp knife. And then if you want to push it into a hunting role, sure, knock yourself out. So it works for me, but for some people that may be a disappointment. Leave a comment below on how you wanted to use this tool or have used this tool, and if this makes sense for you, this change. I don't know what caused it. I don't know if they just realized, hey, most of the people that buy these knives use them as camp knives. Let's just thicken it up all the way to that tip, keeping that consistent thickness, adding to durability, or if there was maybe a process change that happened in 2023 that made it to where it just didn't make sense to do that anymore. So leave comments on which model and which kind of tapering aspect did you like and prefer more based off of how you use the tools. Now, as I went to work with this thing, it absolutely did what I expected it to do. It's a good, well-rounded camp knife. Now, when it came to me, it was sharp, but not cold steel sharp, which is like horrifying, like terrifying. It'll, like you barely touch a hair and it'll pop it off when most cold steels come to you. It didn't quite come that way. It was kind of thick behind the edge a little bit. So I just used my field pocket sharpener from Work Sharp, used the diamond stone on it, quick, like 2-3 minutes, just to kind of play with the edge a little bit, run it on the ceramic. Worked better than it came to me out of the box, and that's what you're seeing. I always tell you guys if I modify the edge, but it's not been like reprofiled on a grinder, or, on a power sharpener. I took an hour on it. It was easy to slightly change what was going on from the factory, and everything you're seeing here holds up great. Carving, no problem. Paracord, all the different cutting tasks. It does what a kind of thicker full flat grind, think of like Ontario wrap models, SEs, things like that. That's how it's going to perform and function, but you're getting CPM 3V steel. Now, speaking of that, there is the VG1 variant, which is going to be more stainless or rust resistant. It's not going to be as tough as 3V is. It's going to be even cheaper. Now, what's wild, Cold Steel sent me this sample, I think 3 variants I had prior. I bought all those. I was like, hey, I want to see what the difference is. So they sent me the sample all the way back in 2023. I'm finally getting around to it. But I looked for pricing. At time of filming, Midway USA has this for under $100 for the 3V variant, which is bonkers. For Taiwanese 3V, awesome. I'll link that, all the affiliate links in the description box below. You can check them out. Usually it's like 125, and even at that, that's a very good value for the size, price, you know, everything in the steel. And then the VG1 variants are going to be maybe like 20 bucks less than the 3V usually. So just kind of things to weigh and consider when you're considering these tools. Now we got to talk about the sheath, and there's pros and cons to that. I have those competitive options that we're going to run in a little bit, and talk about handle ergonomics, good and bad on that as well. But regardless if you're a backcountry hunter, multi-day backpacker, or day hiker, having hydration on the ready is key. And I don't know about you, but for me, having a water bladder that is hard to clean, can leak at a moment's notice, and is just a headache was never my favorite piece of gear. That's where today's sponsor comes into play, which is Hard Side Hydration. I discovered these guys a few years back, and I almost immediately transitioned completely over to this system, because you get the hose that you would think goes onto a water bladder, but it attaches to your favorite hard-sided water bottle, like a 48-ounce Nalgene, 32-ounce Nalgene, Yeti bottles, lots of options, including 28 millimeter smart bottles and things of that nature. And what this allows you to now do is keep everything on the exterior of your pack, quick release, much easier to clean. You can use it at camp and, you know, drink out of it and then put it back in and carry it when you hike out. You know where your water levels are, so it's much easier to know how much you need to take and when it's time to refill. And they got tons of other stuff, including inline water filters and so much more. So guys, I'm gonna have a link popping up. It's in the description box below as well, that you can check out all the different items and designs that Hardside brings to the table, along with my exclusive 10% off promo code that you can apply site-wide to your order. So I encourage you, check them out and stay hydrated on all of your adventures.
Yeah, do you, boo? Finishing up a different day hike here, and I figured we would talk about the sheath and the adapter here. Oh, you're just gonna hang out and just nod your head the whole time? Yeah. You don't have to do that either. Okay. Okay, so SRK-C sheath first. You know, thumb ramp, good deployment, good tension. You could totally carry this upside down. I wouldn't be concerned about it if you're hiking and trekking. Comes with the ambidextrous nylon webbing, you know, button snap, Velcro. I mean, it's great. If you're gonna carry it on your belt, it's great. Zero complaints.
Now, you may hear people say that SRK-C sheaths dull their blades, but there's more to it than just that. Now, if you have a very toothy, super fine edge on a cold steel knife in a SRK-C sheath, and then you drag it out like that and slide it across the sheath multiple times, is it gonna knock down that kind of toothiness, that little extra bite that is on the blade? Yeah, you do that a dozen times, you're gonna notice that that kind of bitiness is gone. Is it gonna make it so it won't work and can't cut and it's as dull as a butter knife? No, I've never seen that with probably 24 cold steels. Now, to help mitigate some of that, what I've always done with most of my knives, regardless of the material, but especially with my SRK-C, is when I deploy the blade, just kind of organically, I push up on it, and that makes me put all the pressure on the back spine where there's no edge, and the blade isn't really even touching the SRK-C. So as long as you do something like that, you probably won't even notice a difference. So that's why over time, I've never even really noticed any dulling when I just pull it out like that. But if you're dragging it out every time, you may notice a little bit of that toothiness and kind of bite to your blades gone. So something to consider.
Now, what this is called the DIRK, and it comes from an American-based company, so they make these in America, called FullTang Tactical. It works even better on leather sheaths to give them moly compatibility, but it works good with the polymer ones as well. It has on the one side these cutouts, so you could put a like Leatherman pouch, a mag pouch, and build out a little survival kit, you know, whetstones, whatever you want. On the flip, what you have here is both a Velcro strap that you can then dangle and wear it as a dangler on your belt, or run through PALS webbing. It's perfectly cut out for PALS webbing, so you can do that vertical or horizontal. And it uses a shock cord to run through there. And for leather sheaths, this is where it gets really cool. This is just a simple belt loop, friction held leather sheath, but I just ran that through there, cross and this thing is not coming off. I mean, this thing is locked in, and now I have both PALS webbing compatibility for the sheath, but also ambidextrous, scout carry, do whatever I want, build out the kit, do what I want to do. So that's the DIRK. I'll have links for that as well. If you guys are interested, you can go explore the different options in that little setup.
Now, ergonomically, we have a Kraton handle in the same vein as the full-size SRK and the Recon Tanto, which means that it is stippled and got texturing, pocking really, I don't know how, like pimples everywhere on the sides, ribbing top and bottom. So, I mean, it is grippy. You're not going to accidentally have it slide out of your hand. Even if you wear gloves, it's going to be good for like shock resistance and warm to the touch. You know, if you're using your hand, you know, no gloves on, but it's cold, you know, you don't have metal through an exposed tang model. The tang goes through down to that lanyard hole or through, like, I think that goes through it. I haven't had any rattling, shifting, you know, over time, anything like that. Now, the guard is where a lot of the tension is for the sheath. You can see there is, you know, just some rubbing over hundreds and hundreds, probably a couple thousand times in and out, in and out. You may see that start to wear slightly and then it become looser and looser over time. You could potentially heat the sheath. That's just the trade-off with Kraton handles. Now, probably the most important part, comparison. The compact SRK has a similar footprint, a little bit longer blade, a little bit shorter handle, but the handle is going to be narrower as well. The Master Hunter, again, shares the exact same dimensions as the SRK full size and the Recon Tanto. One other thing of note is grind geometry. The angle of the grind, the less numbers that I'm about to give you, the thinner, the higher, the slicier, the bigger the number, the wider, the broader the apex becomes, meaning durability, but not as slicey. The compact SRK is the broadest or most obtuse of any of the knives that I'm going to be talking with you at over 15 degrees inclusively. That means when you add both sides together. So this does not slice anywhere near the 9-degree full flat grind on the Master Hunter. So this is significantly more slicey than the compact SRK. And though the SRK is quite a bit longer and has a piercing tip, because of the saber grind that's much lower and just a hair less than the compact, still in the 15-degree range inclusively with the angle, if we were going to talk about going camping, I would be taking the Master Hunter every time. If we're building out a go bag or a self-defense tool, then that's where the SRK wins. Now, the USA-made DEMKO FREEREIGN in 3V is a very interesting variant because even though it's about the same stock thickness and has a saber grind, it has a very high grind, meaning that the inclusive grind angle is 10 degrees and some change. So extremely close to what you get out of the Master Hunter in its slicing power. Now, obviously, it's a much more aggressive design versus a more neutral, kind of straightforward design of the Master Hunter. So it's kind of a hybrid between the SRK and the Master Hunter. And the sheath is a little more modular with a core specifically designed to not dull your blade when you remove it. But when available, these go for about $180, meaning that sometimes you could potentially buy 2 Master Hunters for the cost of 1 FREEREIGN. So there you go, guys. The updated 3V Master Hunter. What do you think? Do you like it? Does it make sense for you? It is such a staple in the collection. And definitely a blade I would recommend to anyone who likes full flat. You want, 3V, and you're looking for that kind of do-everything camp knife, belt knife, to pair with either hatchets, big machetes, things like that. Freaking banger. So that's me, my mileage. Leave a comment below. Leave your questions. I'll do my best to answer them. Subscribe if you haven't for weekly content. And until next time, always remember to stay equipped, stay prepared. I'll see you out there.